Hello, lovely witches. This is Dawn from Aurora Dawn. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. In this video, I want to discuss how to get started in shadow work. Somebody in my group, my Facebook group, Shadow Magic Witches, she asked the question, well, how do you get started in shadow work? And I do have a course, Self-Mastery for Witches course. And what that is shadow work. It's all about shadow work. So I'm a spiritual life coach. I went through training in the whole 9 yards from holistic learning centers, and I worked for them for about a year. I was interning with them, I guess that's what you would call it. And I learned a great deal about how to work with people and help them see their toxic beliefs, and then how to heal that and replace those toxic beliefs with positive beliefs that are life affirming and will help you manifest what it is that you really want. A lot of times we think we know what we want, and we don't know. We don't really know. We've been lied to, we've been programmed, we've been taught things from childhood, from our parents, from our relatives, from school, from society, about what people think they want and what they really want. And so there are some things that you need to unlearn. So but the first step I'm going to tell you is find a spiritual life coach. All right? Preferably a witch, right? I'm a little biased. So I'm going to put two names down below of two people that I know, that I adore, that are life coaches, spiritual life coaches, and they're both witches. Okay? So if you, for whatever reason, you don't click with me, check them out, and go with somebody, all right? Because this journey into yourself, your shadow self, is very emotional. It's very traumatic. It can be overwhelming, and if you don't know what to do, you're going to be overwhelmed, and you'll walk away from it. You're not going to want to touch it, and so you won't heal. So what you want is somebody who can guide you and let you know where where you are on your path and how to heal those toxic things that are coming up for you. Help you identify them, because however old you are, your ego has been lying to you and telling you it's one way when really it's a different way. So it's important to understand your beliefs and how they make you believe things are a certain way when they're not. Okay, so that's number one. Find a life coach who can guide you. So the first thing I teach in the first class is that you are not a victim. You have to understand you are not a victim. You've been abused, yes. You're not denying the fact that you've been abused. You've got trauma. You've got emotional pain. But you are not a victim, and that brings the power back to you. You have to understand that. You've been abused, but it's not your fault. That's another thing. Also, you have to learn first-person communication. What does that mean, and what will that do for you? What is that? What is the benefit? Sentence completions will help you bring up what is in your subconscious mind. These are things that I teach in the first class. Second class, I teach you about your emotions. What are your emotions saying to you? It's a language. Your spirit is trying to communicate through emotions. Ego communicates through thoughts. Okay, so get out of your head, get into your heart, feel your emotions. Now, Buddhism, I don't know if Buddha actually taught it, but in Buddhism, we are taught to sit with the emotion until it's resolved. I don't have time for that, and I don't think it's really necessary to sit in your anger for hours. No, let's not do that, okay? Learn what it is. Anger, for instance, the definition is your boundaries are being violated. You need to do something. And usually the response is anger. So when you feel angry, know that you're trying to protect yourself from something, somewhere, somehow. But you need to process that energy so that you can see objectively, because maybe it's just, your own ego. That's, maybe your ego's been bruised, and the ego's saying you need to stand up for yourself and beat them over the head and get angry and fight back. And really, that's not necessary. That's not really what's going on. So you need to understand, what are your emotions saying to you? Process them so you can remove that energy, so it's not staying inside of you. You process it, and then you can see objectively what is really happening here. Is there something I'm contributing to the issue, the situation that's making me angry? Do I need to tell somebody to treat me differently, to treat me better? Do I need to quit this job and find another job where they treat me better? So these are things that you learn in the second class. And then the third class is nurturing your emotional needs. This little process exercise will help you heal faster than anything. I'm serious, anything. And it's really self-talk. It's very nurturing self-talk. You're in a meditative state. I have a script that I give you if you're in the class. If you take the course, you'll get the script, and you can read the script until you memorize it, until it's you know it well enough to record it, and then you can listen to yourself. Now, I had a student say, I wish you would record that so I can listen to you read that script to me. And yeah, I could do that, but really what's better is for you to record your voice reading that script to you. There's nothing sweeter than your own voice. But regardless, if you don't record it, I never recorded it. And I just sit in a very meditative state, and I go over the script. And I don't always stick to the script because I've been doing this long enough. But you learn self-talk, self-nurturing, and that will make your self-confidence go through the roof. Seriously, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your courage, to protect yourself, to stand up for yourself will skyrocket just by using that little exercise. So you have to do that, and because I teach these things at the beginning, because when we start getting into the ugly stuff, the painful stuff, you need to know what to do with that energy, because it's going to bubble up and it's going to feel really toxic. And you need to know how to process it, how to deal with it, how to heal it, so that it leaves you and just doesn't go back down to fester until next time when it's triggered and it starts bubbling up and you explode and everybody's like, run for the hills, dog's exploding again, Okay, so it helps tremendously to process all the stuff that's coming up instead of holding it down because you don't know what to do with it, and it's not socially acceptable to explode, right? Everybody's gonna go, whoa, freak out and run away. The other thing you need to know is your ego. How does your ego work on you to make you think things are the way they are, when really the truth is it's a different way. So you need to understand and get to know your ego. Also, the laws of beliefs. What are your beliefs, your toxic beliefs? How do they function in your being, and how do they control your behavior? And they do it unconsciously. So why is this happening to me again? Why is this happening? Why is this working out? Why can't I ever do it right? Why do I keep attracting emotionally distant people or romantic partners that can't really be in the relationship with me that is nurturing and helpful and supportive? Why do I keep attracting the wrong people, the wrong job? And why can't I ever find satisfaction? So all this stuff comes up because of your beliefs, and your beliefs are creating your reality. So it's very important to understand that, okay? And then you have to understand also how you are manifesting or following what you learned from your parents. You model from your parents how to conduct yourself in this world. It's how we teach our children how to survive, how to be a part of the society. Okay, so it's very important for you to understand that so you can be conscious. And so if it's something like, you know, was an alcoholic, and so you learn to be an alcoholic or an addictive kind of personality, always seeking something outside of yourself to make yourself feel better, that is not necessarily good for you. So maybe your dad was an alcoholic, but you're a shopaholic, or you turn to drugs or sex, or, you know, whatever, fill in the blank. We all learn these things like that from our parents, because that's how the system works. It's not your fault. It's not your parents' fault. All right? Remember, take fault out of the equation, because once you bring fault in, you lose your power and you cannot heal. It's not going to help you heal to blame your parents. All right? It's just the way the system works. And we can't get caught up in who to blame. Who do I blame for this? It's their fault that I'm this way. They didn't treat me right. It's your responsibility now to heal it. Yeah, it came from them, and they taught you this way. Maybe you were even physically and emotionally abused by them, by your parents or relatives. Then that's a bad thing. That's very toxic. But there's nothing you can do to make them change unless they're willing to change. So you don't go back to them and try and fix what happened and get them to apologize. A lot of times it becomes a very toxic situation if you try to get them to realize what they did and recognize and acknowledge what they did was wrong. So don't do that. You got to learn to take responsibility for where you are now and what you learned from those experiences. Then the next thing is emotional entanglement. When you interact with another person, are you becoming entangled with them, or do you have a really positive and supportive and good relationship with people? So that class will teach you how to recognize if you are emotionally entangled and how to detangle yourself from other people. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to be looking at other people as, well, you're making me feel bad, so it's your fault that I feel bad. Once you understand the entanglement that is going on, then you can undo that and separate yourself. And again, that returns your power, along with, I'm not a victim. I don't have to be entangled with this person. All right. And then the next thing is forgiveness. Forgiveness is a self-protection exercise that we must all learn how to do. And I'm going to do a separate video on forgiveness. But you've got to learn to let go, because the victim mentality, we tend to hang on. So forgiveness is letting go. And then the last class is actually about 3 classes long. I go over the material and teach you how to surface your toxic beliefs. There's different ways of doing it, and one method might work for you or might not. And so there are other methods that might work better. And I work with you one-on-one to make sure you're surfacing the root toxic belief, and that's important. Remember, your ego has been lying to you forever, for how old you are. So that's how many years your ego has been telling you it's this way, it's this way, it's this way, when really it's not. So having somebody who's objective and really understands the ego and beliefs and how the system works can guide you to the root belief. And once you get to the root belief, then you have to connect the dots. How is this creating what I don't want? How is this blocking me from what I do want? And then finally, what do I need to replace it with? And that has to be a direct opposite. And this is where people struggle the most. They come up with wording that isn't really replacing that toxic belief, and therefore it's not going to be a match. So the one belief is not going to replace the other very well, because it's not worded in such a way that it really truly and completely replaces the toxic belief. Hopefully it can be a little confusing, and I don't know if that was clear, but in the class I work with you. I spend a time one-on-one with you to make sure you get it. It's very important. In every class, you turn in homework to me. And what that homework does is tell me whether you get it or not. And if you don't get it, I'm going to be in Facebook, a Facebook group, and I'm going to go over the homework. And anybody I feel has not gotten it, I'm going to go over those things that I feel the class has not gotten. I'm not going to call anybody out, oh, Mary messed up on number 2, so let's go over it. No, that's stupid. It's not. But I'll go over the homework because I want to make sure you understand it. And if I know for sure somebody didn't get it, I'll spend a little bit more time on that part of the lesson to make sure that you get it. Because if you don't get it, you won't be able to make the paradigm shift. And about halfway through, on average, halfway through, people make this amazing shift in their head. Oh, now I get it. Holy crap. And a whole bunch of crap just goes off your shoulders. And you get it, and it starts flowing. That's what you want. That's where you want to be. And you've got all of this excitement. And this is right before we get into the garbage, into the toxic emotional pain and stuff from your childhood. So that's it. If you don't want to hire a life coach, you will definitely be on a road that is going to be a little bit more difficult, and will take longer, because if you dive into your shadow self and you start bubbling up this toxic mess and emotional stuff, the emotional pain starts coming up. It's going to be very painful. If you don't know how to deal with that, how to handle it, how to heal it, it's going to scare you, and you're not going to continue on. You're just going to go a little bit by a little bit, and it might be a week or 2 or 3 or 4 before you even go back into it. And when you're working with somebody, it goes a lot faster. You heal a lot faster, and it becomes a lot easier. Now, what I experienced when I got into this shadow work is years and years and years and years of this nagging, quiet desperation is what I call it, where I'm, this is bad, this isn't working, this is not good enough, that I'm not good enough, and I can never make it happen. Why is this happening to me again? Blah, blah, blah. It's just gnawing away at me in the background of my mind, and I'm not happy. I don't feel good for years and years and years. And finally, I found shadow work, and it was like ripping the bandage off. Now, you could slowly, take a little bit off, and, eventually you'll get there. But why do that? Just rip it off and get into a program like Self-Mastery for Witches and get the healing quickly so you can enjoy life, right? That's what it's all about, is being able to enjoy life and handle the stuff that bubbles up. So even though you've gone through shadow work, it's not over. Yeah, you will continually be confronted with things that make you feel uncomfortable. Well, how do you deal with that? Well, now I know. I've got a whole toolbox full of stuff, methods and tools and exercises and things that I can do to get me back on track to feeling good and feeling happy and enjoying life. So that's what it's all about. So please, if you're interested in shadow work, don't wait around until you're ready, because you'll never be ready. You have to decide, okay, now I'm ready, I'm going to do it. I'm going to dive in and I'm going to do it. So don't wait until everything lines up and ducks are in a row, because that will never happen. Okay? So just make the decision, find a spiritual life coach. And I'll put the 2 names down below. One is Kellyanne Maddox. She is in the UK. I believe she has a payment system that converts. So if you are in the US, you can pay her and it'll get converted to, I don't know, euros or pounds or something like that. The other one is Joanna DeVoe, who is in California. She lives in California, and she is a spiritual life coach, and she is a witch. Both of these are witches, by the way. So, and I love them to death. They're beautiful people, and they are on YouTube. They both have YouTube channels. Check them out, watch their videos, and get a feel for them. If you like them, or if you feel connected to them, then definitely check out their programs. And I know Joanna does one-on-one coaching. So, and I think Kellyanne does as well. Both of them have courses and programs and stuff like that, but you're on your own. So my program, my course, you get me with every class. You'll get a video, you'll get a lesson for that class, and then I am in the Facebook group going over the homework. You have to turn the homework into me. I go over the homework. So I am engaged with you, okay? And I feed back to you. If I feel it's necessary, I will contact you, connect with you, and let you know how you're doing. And then at the end, I am one-on-one with you. So these classes can't be too big, but I want to be there because my students are much, much more successful if I am there. Because a lot of people, they struggle with the last class. Okay, so I'm rambling. That's it in a nutshell. My website is crap right now. I'm trying to get time to work on it, and it's really difficult. I might have some time this weekend, so hopefully, but I'll put that down below, and it has the syllabus for the class, for the course, but it's a work in progress. So please just be patient with the website. But you can find me on Facebook, Shadow Magic Witches, and I have also Aurora Dawn Witchcraft is my fan page. If you want to be a fan, love to have you. But just to put that out there. So thank you so much for watching. Please leave me comments if you've ever done any life coaching with people, or if you have hired a life coach before and what that experience was like. Shadow work, have you done shadow work? How's that going for you? And so I'd love to hear from you. And I think that's it. I just want to make sure I covered everything. I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, do something today that brings you joy and makes you feel good. I love you all. And until next time, blessed be.